Ah, yes. Mzuri sana, how are you?
Thank you, congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Karibuni hapa. Come and spread. Where's Kigame? Kigame kuja hapa. Come on. Come on. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you all for being here. We hope to not take too much of your time. We are going to start with my Deputy Willis issuing a statement in relation to our candidature. Thereafter, we are going to have Ekuru Court, who's going to say something, and my good friend Ruben Kigame, and then I shall speak. That is the order. So, Willis, karibu.
Thank you very much. Yesterday we took our papers to IEBC for registration as a candidate, and we were ready with all the documents and the signatures, but the returning officer, in an unprecedented mode, decided to reject some of our documents. We must say this: when we went to IEBC, we knew that it is part of a bigger game to stop us from being on the ballot. It is part of a bigger game to stifle the voice of Kenyans from having an alternative. More than 48% of Kenyans are undecided voters, undecided after more than 4 years of campaigns by the other candidates. So they do not want these 48% of Kenyans to have a voice in this election. The ostensive reason that the chairman of the commission gave for rejecting our papers was that His Excellency Jimmy Wanjigi'S didn't have a university degree. But I must say this: a decision was made in 2013 by the IEBC, the returning officer of the presidential elections, on what constitutes a university degree. And they said, once you've done your entire coursework, once you've completed your university education, you are a holder of a degree. Graduation is but a ceremony. It is not necessary. The IEBC used that decision to clear Governor Joe in 2013 based on his transcripts and his completion letter from the university. A lady by the name Janet Mbete challenged that decision of the IEBC. And the IEBC, in its rulings, found that Governor Joe was duly cleared to run. Subsequently, IEBC went to the High Court to seek enforcement of its decision. And the High Court of Kenya, in petition number 116 of 2013, did find that once you've concluded your university studies, you've met all the course requirements, you have all the marks for that respective course, you are deemed to be a graduate, and therefore you meet the qualifications specified in Section 22 of the Elections Act. That has been the law since 2013. That was the law applied to all aspirants in 2017, and that has been the law the Commission has applied in by-elections, including the clearance of candidates in the present elections. And that was also the law at the time when my friend Walter Mungare was being cleared. So the law has always been clear. There has been no change in what that law is. It only changes when His Excellency Jimmy Wanjigi'S appears before the Commission, and then they illegally seek to now move away from what is settled law on the definition of a university degree, that which themselves they had sought. In other words, IEBC is now acting in contempt of the High Court order. They are actually, the returning officer is questioning the decision of the High Court. How ridiculous is this? when they declared the other candidates based on their documents which were presented, they were applying that same law. How then do they now turn around at this particular point to disown the law they've used successfully in 2 presidential and general elections just because they've seen His Excellency Jimmy Wanjigi as a threat on the ballot? Now, we are not going to sit back and allow an IEBC that flip-flops on its own whims, an IEBC that disregards the rule of law, an IEBC that is not consistent in its application of the law. It is applying differential treatment to candidates. We did write, and I said yesterday, we did write to the IEBC on the 31st of May, 2022. And we asked the IEBC, we forwarded all our documents, we forwarded all our forms. Kindly get back to us if there be any issue with our forms, with our documents. As I stand here today, no response was received. Other candidates we've seen, when they write or when they communicate to the commission on an issue, the chairman is very fast to respond to them and to accommodate their requests. Our letter of 31st of May, received on 31st of May, has not been responded to date. Why this differential treatment? Article 27 of our Constitution is very clear on discrimination. Why did the Commission discriminate against us? Because they know we are the campaign that represents the voice of the people. That is all that I wish to say up to this particular point. Thank you.
Thanks for coming. Let me not mince my words. I think, to be honest with you, we are dealing with a special purpose vehicle called IEBC. And all the signs are there for IEBC to deliver or to force onto Kenyans a candidate of their choice. Let me talk about 2 instances. Of course, it's very horrible that they have not given Jimmy Wanjigi, my brother Ruben Kigame, an opportunity. At least in my case, I was given an opportunity and subjected to a very frivolous process. Now, I think IEBC has no capacity, to be honest, to hold this election. IEBC has said in the past that election is a process. And if election is a process, then you must remain consistent. In my case, you know, I'm not a newcomer to this presidential race, as all of you know. It's my 3rd time now seeking to be in the ballot. In 2017, on the 28th of May, 2017, IEBC issued me with a certificate to run as president. Last Sunday, IEBC denied me that certificate on the excuse that my degree certificate is not certified. Isn't that laughable? So I think we are dealing with an institution here that, first of all, is clearing the wrong candidates just because they do not want alternative voices like Wills has said. I'll give you an example. There is a candidate they have cleared called Azimio la Umoja, One Kenya coalition political party candidate. And I would like Kenyans to have a serious debate about this. A political party that is fully registered in Kenya must have at least 24,000 registered voters. And those registered voters have to be living persons, not companies, not corporates. The candidate that IEBC has cleared, who we know is a system candidate, is actually a candidate from a corporate body called Azimio. Azimio la Umoja party, coalition party, its membership is ODM, NARC Kenya, Wiper, KANU, and the others. Now I want us to ask a very serious question. Will ODM go and vote in an election? Because when you are checking whether you are actually in the register, the first thing that we did was to present our ID. The second person who verified whether I'm actually a natural person or not was the registrar of political parties. How then did some candidate go beyond the office of the registrar of political parties? Because you can only go even to meet Chebukati to begin a certificate. Once it's confirmed, you are actually a fully registered Kenyan, and you are in the register of voters, of party. So there is no voter called ODM. There is no voter called Wiper. There can only be a voter called Jim Wanjigi, Ekuru Aukot, Reuben Kigame. And that is the injustice that we are seeing in this election. So therefore, I think what we are going to say, and Jimmy will summarize on this, we are not going to tire. We are not going to allow our country to be mistreated like somebody's chattel, or we're not going to allow individuals to hide behind institutions. Personally, I'm going to make a case against each and every of those commissioners, because people cannot make decisions that are injurious to a country, to people, and then hide behind an institution called IEBC. And this journey is just beginning. I don't want to say much. I'd like to give my brother Reuben Kigame the opportunity to speak to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Article 27 of our Constitution 2010 says that it is not right for anyone in this country to be discriminated against on any ground. Just because you're a woman, you have a particular gender or sexual orientation or disability. I happen to be someone living with disability because of my visual handicap, but that has not stopped me from living my life in full. I have gone to school with bona fide degrees. I have worked and employed people. I have run a media house that I put up together myself. I have participated in the 2013 election in the Vihiga County gubernatorial race. And that particular election was actually managed by the IEBC, where I was an accepted gubernatorial candidate. Comes 2022, and I am not included on the ballot. The question is why? I have been included on the ballot before, but why this particular time? I rest it all on one person called Wafula Wanyonyi Chebukati and the commissioners and the entire body of the IEBC. Chebukati and IEBC are the most discriminating entity in this country. And I'll tell you why. First of all, they have refused to receive my signatures as an aspirant, even though I am gazetted, and I have approached them twice with the same signatures, and they have refused. They say I am late in submitting the signatures. A big lie, because in the company of several other aspirants, we all took our signatures and copies of IDs on the 25th of May to Bomas of Kenya. And at Bomas of Kenya, I was received by their officials, namely Patrick and Ruth, who told me those particular signatures were not complete, they were not in their right order and format, that I should go and correct the format and resubmit. They did not take all of them. They took only 3 counties and said, go and work this out and bring them by the 29th. Guess what? I was there on the 29th with 2 big boxes of signatures from 26 counties. They refused to receive them. In fact, one of the security officers threatened to burn them. I was then denied access to Bomas of Kenya the next day when I wanted to see Chebukati to resolve this. But I must mention the incident of Sunday night, because I waited at Bomas from 1 in the afternoon until 11 at night. And I was told only Chebukati, my returning officer, could settle this whole question of receiving signatures. And so wait for him. I waited for him, and while I'm waiting for him, I'm asked for my email address. And at exactly 10 p.m., while I'm waiting in the lobby, Chebukati sends me an email saying I'm non-compliant. That is not just arbitrary, it is not acceptable, and that is not, in my opinion, the acceptable mode of communication to an aspirant. I must add and say, I was asked to go to Anniversary Towers. I did, and I was tossed from floor to floor to floor. Where am I going with all this? Simply to tell you that Chebukati refused to receive my signatures. And we asked for a meeting. He granted us on the 5th in order to resolve this. And I have witnesses in that room. He says that I understand your case, but my hands are tied. I would like to know who is tying Chebukati's hands. Which law is tying Chebukati's hand if it's a law? Chebukati said that there is no regulation, there is no direction that allows him, as a returning officer, to even treat me preferentially or with affirmative action as someone living with disability. Now, guess what? The nomination fee for presidential candidates is 200,000 shillings. For women, youth, and persons with disability, it is 100,000 shillings. So affirmative action is already envisaged, and he will not stretch that beyond the money. So I am here to say, Chebukati and the team will read the law as it is convenient to them. They will use regulations in order to sieve out those they don't want to be on the ballot. And I just happen to be one of them. So my message is simple. Our 2010 Constitution requires that every citizen who is qualified to run for office runs. And nobody should put impediments and obstacles in their path. That same Constitution says Chebukati and team are not supposed to discriminate against me. They have. And I'll tell you the worst aspect of the discrimination as I finish. He has gazetted 4 candidates. You all know them. He has also issued a list of those that did not qualify. Now, Kenyans, are you aware that I don't appear in the list of those who are passed as the 4, and I don't even appear in the list of those who are disqualified? What does that tell you? That Chebukati and his team treat me as a non-entity. They treat me as an accident. They treat persons with disability with disdain. And I'm here to tell you this. It will not happen, because we will not be silenced. I will be here for the longest haul to represent persons living with disability, and they too have a right to run for office. I must also say that the process of IEBC taking us to this next election must not just be, a good process. It must be seen to be an acceptable process. And so we are here to communicate this, that as the voice of the people, we will not be silenced. We will continue to speak so that the citizens get a better government, the citizens get a better country, and that the things that our oppressors, the things that status quo has refused to do, we will be able to do if you give us a chance. So help us, God.
Hi, love.
Yes, darling.
Let me guess. Coffee?
Yeah.
Oh yes, it's halfway down the line for the year 2022. And here at Optivin, we're giving you an opportunity to stay warm this season. Buy a plot of land at Celebration Gardens, Kitengela. Celebration Gardens comes with Maram roads, trees along the internal roads, and will have water and electricity amongst other features. For every $699K that you place as deposit or installment towards any of Optivin's plot of land, we gift you a brand new coffee maker to make you feel warm. Changamkia ploti na Optivin. Call us on 0790 300 300.